Greetings of the day. We shall continue the session on Python, Unit 5, Control Flow. In the last session, we understood the working of while loop and also how an infinite loop can be created and how it can be exited, or it can be terminated with the help of a break, or it can be continued with the help of a continue statement. Today in this session, we shall see another example using a while loop. So the problem which you have to work on is write a Python program to find the square root of any positive number entered by the user. On entering a q or a small q, exit the program. Now what does this mean is the program is demanding a number which should be a positive number, and if the number is entered as positive, then it will find the square root and display the square root and again ask for the next number. Moment user types a negative number, it will not do anything, it will not find the square root of that number. Or if the user types capital Q or small q, then it comes out of the program or exits the program. So before writing the program, we'll see how to write the algorithm. You know that algorithm will always help you to understand the logic that is involved in it. So this is to find the square root of a positive number. Now the first step is accept the number into a variable. Let us call that variable as var, and then we want to check whether that var is equal to small q or a capital Q. So it is checking immediately whether it is equal to capital Q or small q. If it is so, if it is true, then go to step 6, which is going to follow, and that is the end of the program. Otherwise, if the var is less than, the number is less than 0, then you know that it is a negative number. Then appropriate message is displayed here, that is enter only a positive number, and again go back to the step 1. So you can see here that it is doing nothing, but again it is repeating it. And then the fourth step is, if everything goes fine, if it is not a negative number, or if user has not entered the q or capital Q, then it will find the square root of that number. So square root can be found using this function square root of var. And then later display that value which is computed, and then again go back to step 1. So you can see here again the loop is continued, and then later the last thing, that is end. Now you can analyze this entire thing. So if this is q or small q, then go to step 6, that is end the program, that is the user is not interested to continue. Otherwise, if the number is negative, then go back to step 1, that user continues with the loop. Or if he finds the square root of a number which is a positive number, then again he is waiting for, accepting the next number, which is the next positive number or next number from the user. Now this is how algorithm can be stated, because algorithm does not tell you anything about the programming language. It can be, you can implement this program either in C program or in Python, it doesn't matter. So hence it's a pure English like statements. Now the next thing that you need to understand is before writing the program, let me tell you that in case of C program, we had used an inbuilt function called as sqrt to find the square root. But you know that you cannot directly use sqrt in the program. You need to #include mat.h. The similar kind of approach also lies with the Python. That is, you need to have an import statement at the very beginning of the program. So import is acting like your #include. So we'll try to understand what is the meaning of an import statement. Now if you look at the import statement, it says that you can have access to the module, that is in Python code in one module gains access to the code in another module by the process of importing it. It means the same thing what we did in the earlier cases, like in case of C program we had written sqrt. So meaning of sqrt is sqrt function is defined in mat.h. A similar thing applies here, that is whatever we are using the function here, let us say sqrt, that sqrt is defined in one of the module, and that code is accessible to the Python program because of this import statement. So what is the meaning here? For example, to import sqrt function defined in math module can be defined as import math. So the first statement would be import math, and then can be used in the code as mat.sqrt. Unlike C program, we cannot just say sqrt, but you have to use it with mat.sqrt. Of course, there are different syntax to import it, but let us assume that we know this syntax as one of the option. And when the module is first imported, Python searches for the module, and if found, it creates a module object and initializes it. That is, whatever you have said, import math, and if it is found, then it will try to initialize that as an object, module object. If it is not found, then it will raise an error saying module not found error. So this error will be displayed. So this is the understanding of an import statement. Now we'll try to go to the editor to implement this program. So let us go to the Thorny editor and type the program. Now, as I told you that the first statement would be import math. That is the library that we want to, or the module that we want to incorporate. After this, our program will start. But the first step in the program, if you go to the slide, if you see accept a number into var and if var, that means this is from the understanding of the further steps, you understood that this is the infinite loop that is created. So let us try to create an infinite loop here. So we can say here while, you know how to create an infinite loop, while true would create an infinite loop, and then we will try to accept this value into this variable. Let us call this as input. So I have written an input statement, enter a number into var, and you know that var is of string type, so directly I can compare inside this loop. That is, if my var happens to be equal to capital Q from the algorithm, or it is small q equal to small q, then I can comfortably break the loop or come out of the loop. That is, I can use a break statement. That is, I am not interested to continue further. Otherwise, if my entered value is not q or q, I need to check out whether it is my number. So to convert it to number, you know that you need to say var equals var, let us convert this into float of var. We'll try to convert it to float because we can have any number, any positive number. So let us convert it to float, and then finally check if this number is not less than var, that is var is not less than 0. You can even have this statement before this, or you can have this here colon. If this is the case, then you can just say print enter a positive number. If the number is less than 0, you can enter a positive number. And let us go to the algorithm and see what is that we are doing. Go to step 1. So you should know that from this algorithm, what is the meaning of go to step 1? You can have a statement called as continue. So here you can use the keyword continue. If everything goes fine, if none of these cases are true, then you know that you can find the square root of that number just by displaying it directly, or taking another variable and then storing that value into another variable. Or you can even say the square root, then you can say the square root is math.sqrt of var. So as we saw in case of the import statement that was given here, that is math.sqrt. So the same can be used here, math.sqrt of what number you want to find. Now this is the program, complete program, and you know that this is all happening inside the loop. That's why there is a tab setting here. And now if you run this program, we'll see what happens here. Now if I run this program F5, now it's asking me enter a number. So let us enter the number as 256. Now the square root of 256 is 16. Very nice. So that is a perfect square, and the program is also not a problem because again it is coming back to the first line. That means that all the lines have been executed successfully. Then let us try to take some odd number, 102. Then you get a big number here, 10.0 and so on. It's a fractional value. Or for that matter, you can take some number 789.98. Even the square root of a real number which is of this type is also absolutely not a problem. Or if you enter some negative number, then it says please enter only a positive number, -66. Again it is waiting for my input. So this is how the program runs. But if you want to come out of the program, or for that matter, I will try to, before coming out, let me take a bigger number, because as we have been doing with playing with a bigger number, so you can just enter the bigger number and it finds the square root of that number also, absolutely not a problem. So you can test it out, of course, with different values. Now if I want to come out of the loop, I can say either small q or capital Q. So even I can type capital Q here, and now you see it says it has come out now because it is at the prompt, or you can put one statement at the end saying program is over or program is exited. Now this is how it works, but what is the understanding with this program is you need to understand is how did we make use of this import module, and how to make use of this function which is defined inside the import. This program import statement or this program can be written in different ways, but one of the way wherein we can change the statement is, as I said, another way of writing this is I can say from math import. This is another way of writing it, sqrt. So in this case, when I say from math import sqrt, that means I am explicitly specifying that I am interested in this function. Then I need not write this part. I need not write the math dot part. That is, I can direct. So here this math.sqrt is not necessary. Now you just have to do is you have to remove this math dot now, because we already specified what we want in the import statement from math. So we just have to say sqrt. Now if I run this program, now you can see enter a number, some number, big number. I can find the square root, again enter a number, negative number, absolutely not a problem, enter a positive number, and so on. So this goes on, q I type, it comes out. So this is another way of doing the same program. So with this understanding, let us go back to the presentation. Now we'll see the next loop, that is for loop, which is also called as a definite loop. Sometimes it is necessary to loop through a set of things such as list of words, list of lines, list of numbers, list of it could be some sequence of items and so on. So when there are a list of things to loop through, a definite loop can be constructed using a for loop. So it is generally, what is the meaning of this is, whenever I have definite number of items to be iterated or browsed, then I will choose a for loop. Wherein in case of a indefiniteness, if I don't know what is my condition, then in that case I would choose a while loop. So how does the syntax of for loop look like? Now there are two forms of for loop I can use. One is this way I can use it, that is for I in sequence colon body of the loop, that is whatever I want to specify the statement inside the body could be this, and then followed by the outside the loop, that is this loop would get over here. Now how does it look like? I in sequence. So what is the variable I in this sequence? Meaning where the sequence can be range, it can be list, file, string, tuple, dictionary, etc. These other things you will understand in the subsequent sessions, but for the time being, we understand that sequence can be any one of these. Now what is the meaning of this? Where I is the variable that iterates through values specified in the sequence. So whatever I have specified in the sequence, that value will be taken up by I, unlike the C program that used to say I equal to 0 and so on. So it is not that I can initialize I here, but I will take the values, pick up the values from the sequence, and it will go through each and every value. Now let us see this with the help of a diagram. Now if you look at the diagram is not very different, but for here in this case for loop, it would be something like for each item in sequence, we would call it as for each item in sequence, you go on picking the item till the last item is reached, So moment you check for the last item, if it is no, go on the inside the body of the loop, again pick up the next item and again go on, and moment last item is reached, you say yes, then you come out of the loop. So this is how the for loop diagram looks like, and we take an example, it would be more crystal clear. Now if you have familiar with an example like I want to print the 5 numbers from 0 to 4, or yeah, let us say that I want to do it in case of C program, then I would do it in what way I would do it. For example, I would say I is equal to 0, I is less than equal to 5, I plus plus. The similar thing applies here, just like I less than 5 and so on. Similarly, I can say here for I in range of 5, meaning the range will create a set of numbers from 0 to n minus 1 or 5 minus 1, that is 4. So you need not worry about it. If you say 5, it means it will go only up to 4. That is, if I say k, then it will be k minus 1, or if I say n, it would be n minus 1 values. So for I in range of 5, if I say print of I will go on taking the values 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. The range function generates an iterator to progress the integer numbers starting with 0 and ending with n minus 1, that is 4. So quickly we can go and check it out in the editor. That would give you a better understanding of this. Now for example, if I say for I in range of the same example, I will take it 4 and then colon, and I will print the value of I. What would I get? Now if I run this, now you can see here it will show me all the different values which have been iterated from 0 onwards till 4. So if you can see here in the output panel, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is how the value of I will be the iterator will take the value of different numbers range from that is 0 to 4. So this is how you can specify it, and I believe you understood the small demonstration that was necessary to understand the for loop. So we'll end this session here and we'll take up for loop in for future sessions with a lot of different examples. So you can till then practice these concepts and we'll meet again. Thank you. Have a good day.